Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is bringing you a closer look at the Hager number 1446 ball catch, shown in the US 26 satin chrome finish. Very typical residential sort of ball catch that you're going to use in the top of a pair of doors that might have dummy hardware on it. You could use this as a latch. You might just want to have you might have a pantry closet that you don't want to have a lever trim. You just want some other hardware to open and close the door, and a spring-loaded ball latch like this would be very appropriate. Includes this strike plate, a full lip sort of strike, available in several different finishes as well. And this item is, it's obviously spring-loaded, being a ball catch. As I depress the ball with my thumb, that spring inside of there compresses, and the projection of that is regulated by turning this threaded collar that you can see by these two notches. So you'd be able to use a small tool and get in there, and I don't have one, but get in there with a couple of very small nails, I suppose, and you'll be able to rotate that to decrease or increase the spring tension, so that you can control the force by which it really takes to open and close the door. Now, there is a link to the instructions below this video, which are really handy because they give detailed installation instructions regarding a ball catch. But if you're looking at this, a lot of that might be review for you. That installation instructions includes all of the dimensional information regarding it. Let's go over it now. Being a typical residential ball latch, it's going to be 2 1/4 tall. That's a very common size. It's going to be 1 inch wide. It'll be very typical as well. Overall projection of 1 3/16. That looks accurate. That strike is also going to be 2 1/4, and that's very common. Strikes are measured typically from the center line of the screw holes to the edge of the lip. So that would put us at about 7/8, with an overall of about 1 3/8. Reviewing the installation instructions, choose the height at which, step 1, choose the height at which to mount the hardware and mark an X on the door edge. Make sure that X is the center line of the door edge before moving on. Drill a 7/8 hole, 1 1/4 deep, where the X is marked on the door. So what they're saying is, figure out the height you want it at, figure out the thickness of the door, and place your X in the center of that thickness. So if it's an 1 3/8 door, the door may not be exactly 1 3/8. They're typically a little bit thinner, so determine the exact center of the door, mark your hole. But before you go and drill that 7/8 hole into the door 1 1/4 deep, that's an easy hole to drill. That's just a fly bit, if appropriate for your application. Make sure, take a survey of the surrounding doors. Make sure that you're installing this, at a compatible height with any other doors that you might have. You might have a hallway full of doors, and then you've got a couple of closets, let's say. You don't want your line of sight to change drastically because you've placed this at an odd situation, assuming that you're going to attach hardware, near the center line vertically of where this item is installed. Insert the catch into the newly drilled hole. They're going to want you to use this hardware as a template so that you can mark, then chisel out for the face. Okay, that's step 3, 4, and 5. Attach it, step 6, pre-drill your holes. Then, do a visual lineup of the reference to the frame. Generally, if you measure the top of the door to the center line of this, add 1/8 of an inch when you're measuring on the frame, and that would give you a compatible center line of the strike. Step 8, mark the outline of the strike. Go ahead and chisel it. That's step 9. Step 10 is attach it, and 11 is attach it. Notes, dimension Y equal 1/2 inch, door thickness plus 1/8. What is dimension Y? Oh, okay. So that's a very critical dimension in the lower left-hand corner. Where exactly to locate this? Dimension Y is the face of the stop of the frame to the center line of this strike. Okay, so dimension Y needs to be 1/2 of an inch it needs to be half of the door thickness. Forgive me. So plus 1/8 of an inch. So if you've got an 1 3/8 door, you're going to be at 11/16, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, 11/16 plus 1/8 of an inch, 13/16. So to check that math, 1.375 divided by 2 plus 1.25 is 13/16. That would be the dimension from the stop face to the vertical center of the screw holes. So now you know vertically where you're going to put it. Now you know laterally or horizontally where you're going to place it as well. Step 2 in the notes, gap between door and frame should be no more than 1/8 of an inch. Yes, that's typical. You want the door to basically make contact with the stop of the, meaning the gap between the jamb and the edge of the door is not to exceed 1/8 of an inch, because you'll compromise the ability of the ball catch to secure the door, because you don't want too much margin between there. If you're mounting it on top of the stile of the door and the frame head, place center line of catch 2.5 inch from back edge, back of the lock edge of the door. So they're saying is if you've got a pair of doors, go from the edge of the door, the meeting stile, 2.5 inch in. That's a typical location to install that. You'll be able to clear any sort of construction that's in the door, but you'll want to survey that before you start planning on it specifically. Reviewing the balance of the link to the installation instructions, we've covered pretty much all of it. Screws are obviously included that have been referred to. Okay, little 6 by 3/4 flathead screws in a complementary finish. Hager is a full-line provider of trim and auxiliary hardware, both residential and commercial, weather stripping, door closers, exit devices, lock sets. But it's their namesake, Hager Hinge, that they're really most notorious for, a comprehensive offering of commercial and architectural hinges and residential as well. Any questions on the Hager number 1446 ball catch or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.